So today we will share with you how to do schedules in Archicad. You can already see the schedules in your project map on the right hand side. Okay, so you click on this and click on elements, and you should be able to see there are schedules that have already been set up for you. For example, wall, openings, doors, window, object. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to double click on the door schedule. Right. And this is the schedule of all the doors that you have within the project that you have created. Okay. So in this case, right, in my door schedule, I don't have repeated items. So when I click on the merge items, there's no change. But for example, if you have copied a couple of doors, right, then once you click on this, you will be able to see that uh, they they will individualize all of them. You'll notice that, for example, this one swings in the opposite way. So it's not like a direct copy. Okay, so this is where you can control the merging. Okay, you can also adjust the appearance of your door schedule by selecting on the, for example, this portion here, and you can change it to italics, underline. You see, you can change it like this. This is one way to change. Okay, I repeat again, I undo. Oops. Okay, this is the default, right? You can double click on it, select it, and change it like so. Okay, that's one way. Another way, so I have to reset this, right? Another way is you can apply the format to header, and all of the headers will be bold and italic. And what you will see now is, you see on the top is bold. This is a header also. This is also bold, italic, and underlined. Okay. So as part of the assignment, you will need to illustrate in the 3 schedules that you will submit all these different kinds of appearances. Okay, for example, you can change color also. Okay, I will not elaborate. I'll just tell you that in general, this is how you can adjust. Okay, but what I will elaborate on is a more important portion, which is, so I'm going to put it back again, which is about the scheme settings. Okay, and that's available right over here. I will leave my giant arrow cursor there so you all can see. is on the top right hand corner. Okay, once you click that, then you will be able to see for this particular schedule, which is a door schedule, what are all these fields. Okay, so essentially, whatever that is here is whatever that is here. Okay, so what we are going to do now is we are going to clean this schedule up. Okay, for example, I don't need all this fire resistant thermal back view, 3D back view also. So I'm going to select this, and remove. Okay, let's just try first. Okay, I click OK. And then now you will notice that your schedule has significantly um, been updated and cleaned up. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go back to scheme settings again, and we're going to make it look nice and neat. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this window nominal seal height and head height, and even this nominal W times H size. Okay, and dynamic ID classification. Okay, and I simply remove, and I click OK, and now you see there's less of this. Okay, so we only keep what we want. We have the door, we have the name, we have the quantity, we have from where the door is opening and to where it's opening. Okay, and now we're going to add new information. Now, all along we have been removing information, right? So I would like to add information now. I'm going to click on Add Fields. And I want to just search for width. Okay, so it'll be under General Width. Click Add. And I also want to add height. And oops, not whole height. I want general height. Add. Okay, so this one I can remove. And I click OK again. So now I have the width, and then I have the height. So you notice now it automatically goes to the central justification. I can simply click on this and change it to the left justification. So it's consistent, okay? Okay, the last thing that I want you to add right, as the view will be under window door. And I want the view from the opening side. Okay, just now it was the view from the rear. I'll just click on this and add. And I want to, you see, when I click OK, right, it will end up at the bottom here. Okay, so what we want is we want all the drawings at the bottom, and then this width and height is on top. So how do we do that? You again go back to scheme settings, choose the width and the height. You can choose both of them together, right? And you can just click and drag on your uh, mouse button, hold and drag all the way until it's above the 2D preview, and it will be above this. Okay, and then now you click OK, and you will see that your width and height originally that was at the bottom will have been scrolled up. Okay, and then the last thing that I will also share with you is, for example, I can have no border or vertical line or with a grid. Okay, I can also change this to be dash. There's so many things that you can experiment with. Okay, change to red color line or change to gray. Okay, so in your assignments, right, what I just want you to show, your 3 schedules should have different appearance. Okay, you have the same content but different appearance so that I can know that you know how to change. Okay, this is not about aesthetics, it's more about showing that you have the techniques, you learn the techniques. Okay, and then if you are savvy enough, this is exactly like the rendering walkthrough, right? Essentially now you have already finished 1/3 of your assignment. Okay, because everything that you do now in the hands-on is contributing to your assignment. Okay, your assignment you can submit today or you can submit on Thursday. Okay, because by right this one is supposed to be on Thursday. Okay, and I will have it due on next week. Okay, to give you all plenty of time to change. Okay, it will be due by next Thursday. Okay, but of course I don't want you all to do homework. I promise you all, right? All your assignment except for the weeks is due in class. Okay, so you have, I give you plenty of time to do. Okay, so for now, this particular schedule, do you all have any questions before I move on? Oh, okay. Susu Niang? Susu Niang is my favorite. Easy to remember also, the name. Okay, so essentially what you have learned is the schedule is here. You can edit the appearance from this what's this dialog box here. And if you can edit the amount of content from the scheme settings over here. So you realize that Archicad, right? The strength of Archicad versus Revit is that it's really very uh, easy to use. Okay, the bell curve to learn is significantly more gradual than Revit. Revit from the beginning, if you want to do the door schedule, window schedule, right? You have to know a lot. Then you can do one simple door schedule or one window schedule. But for Archicad, is already they do everything for you, and then you just need to adjust. But like I mentioned again, the with good, there's also bad points. So those software like Archicad, which is already very pre-built, when you want to adjust, for example, libraries or certain templates, right? The customization is not as much as you will be able to achieve than with Revit, right? Because Revit you can control a lot of things. Archicad maybe you can control 75% of the thing. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to continue and show you what is the usefulness of BIM software. This happens for not only just Revit, but also happens for, sorry, not only happens for Archicad, but also happens for Revit. So in this case, for example, now, okay, let's choose the most distinct door, right? Okay, for example, this door is the most different from all the other doors. I will select this and I can immediately change the width. Okay, I'm going to make this double the size, 3000. And then I press enter. Okay, and when I go back to my 3D, you can see that it will update the 3D immediately. Okay, and it works both ways, right? So remember last time I showed you all that you can click on uh, the black dots or the pink dots to be able to adjust uh, and stretch the elements, right? So you can do that. Or, of course, the easiest way is to select this and then you can adjust it in terms of the size like this. Or another way is you Control T and then you change it from here. Okay. So if I say put 1000 now, okay, I go back to my door schedule, it will update itself. So that is the beauty of having BIM software as opposed to using SketchUp or AutoCAD, right? So that's not so intuitive. Okay. So the next thing that we are going to do now is we are going to create a new schedule from scratch, right? Because as I have already showed you, the door schedule and the window schedule is already pre-built by Archicad for you, right? So the only way that you can show me that you learn from this class is that you adjust the appearance and you adjust the amount of information inside the fields. But we also want to be able to teach you when you click on scheme settings over here. Oops. Oh, click on scheme settings, right? That you know how to create one new schedule from scratch. Okay. So that's why you have to click on this new button over here. And you need to give it its ID. So this ID is like what you see on the left over here. Okay. So we can simply put it as blank because we don't need to follow this IES. But for the name, I want to say, I want to create a concrete schedule. Okay. And instead of elements, I want to choose components. Okay. So what's the difference between all these three things? Okay. You will notice that just now our door schedule and window schedule over here is under elements. And then what we have here, components, this is what we are going to build later on. And then we have surfaces. So elements are essentially more of objects. Okay, they could be the GDL objects, the one with the chair button here, this one, right, where you can put all your trees and your plants and your furniture. Okay, so you can also create a schedule for that. That's under elements. Or it could also be your railings and your roof. But for components, that's essentially the kind of uh, basic part of your project. So it will be the um, concrete or steel or other kind of construction components. Okay, and then followed by surfaces. Okay, surfaces will be, you remember a couple of lessons ago we were sharing with you how to make the appearance of the wall to become brick, right? Or have a different color. So that's what we mean by the surfaces. And in terms, that's what we mean by surfaces in terms of the software. Okay, in terms of the industry, we will always understand it as finishes, right? Because that is the finishes that we will construct and execute at the end of the day. Okay, so now for this, we are going to leave it as components, right? And then we have a new scheme and we will click OK. And you will notice, you see here now, as I mentioned, because there's no ID, so this is blank, and this is my concrete component schedule. Okay. At the moment now, you will see that over here in fields, right, it is empty. And over here, the criteria, it is also empty. What does criteria do for you? Essentially, criteria is you telling Archicad what kind of component you want in your schedule. Okay, so just now, if you notice, if I just to click back on the door schedule, right, you'll realize that in the criteria is searching for your entire file, what doors there are. Okay, if I click on the window schedule, Archicad classification is in the branch of window. Okay, so all the windows will be under this. See, and then for under opening, right, what does this do? It will take all the door and the skylight and the window as the opening, which makes sense, right? Because these are the things that are exposing your interior space to your exterior space. And you'll also notice that there are these operators here. Operators means and or if. Okay. So for the opening schedule is taking doors or skylight or window, means it will accumulate more and more. Okay, regardless whether it's door or skylight or window. But eventually, when you are more expert, right, you could also have uh, operators such as and. Okay, so maybe you want to have a door and it also must be metal. Then you will have a schedule for metal door directly already. Because this is how you will be informing Archicad how to select your criteria. Okay, so that's for the elaboration. If we go back to the concrete schedule that we are going to create, right? What we will do now is under all types, right? We can click here and we can choose what kind of type we want to have. We can also choose from here uh, to add criteria, right? So under add criteria, we can immediately choose from the drop down menu here and select say building material, or the shortcut way, right, is you simply do like what I've done for the fields. You can just type here building material. Okay, and select this and click add. Okay, so by default, it will choose brick. So you can simply select on brick and then change it to concrete. Okay. And now we are going to also have additional one, right? So I will click add criteria. Same thing. I want to have the building material. But now I want to change this to reinforced concrete. But for here, there's no reinforced concrete now, right? Currently, I don't have any reinforced concrete material. So for me, I would just put there concrete block filler, right? And instead of and, I will click on this and choose all. Okay. What does this mean? And means that you have to be a door and also a metal door, right? But if you choose all, means you can have doors or every other thing that is metal. So you have a lot of selection as a result of that. Okay. And now what we are going to do is I will now click on add fields, right? And then I will choose all the fields that is required for this particular schedule. Okay, so the first one will be my home story name. You have to type home story name. Okay, and oops, I accidentally select the wrong one. So it should be home story name. Okay. The fast way, you'll realize, right? Instead of you always click add and then you go back to add view, you just double click. Okay, then you'll be there. And yet you can change what you're going to type. So now I will type name, right? And then building material name, double click. And then now I will change and type building material. Oop- Oops. So I just now I accidentally exited out, but it's okay. I will just make it very fast. Okay, so I add fields and then I will add the home story name. And then I will add the name. And then I will add the building material, composite and composite profile and fill. And then the very last one will be the skins and component volume. Okay, sometimes it's easier if you just type volume, and we shall choose the component volume here. Okay. Okay, once you are happy, you click OK. And this will be the schedule that you will have. Okay, so you can click on the three dots here, and you will be able to resize the column and resize the row, and click OK. And then now this one will be neater. Okay. And you will realize that I don't have any content here yet because the best thing is I have to change some of my wall to be a concrete wall. Okay. Yes, I forgot to change the all. So now you will see that I have all my objects here. Okay. Yes. Now this is okay. Okay. This is where it's important for you to click on the merge items. See, once I merge items, right, the number of items I have will be less. See, it will keep repeating all this background. Okay. If I click on this, then it will reduce this. Okay. So I'll let you all do that first. Just gonna clean up the model. Okay, so just make sure that you have some things that are concrete. Because I realized that I didn't change my slab earlier on. Oh, one shortcut is you can select slab and you just Control A and you will choose all of the project file, and then now you can apply them to be concrete. So I can merge them or I can unmerge them. Okay, so essentially now I'm only having my swimming pool as a concrete floor, and the volume is 3.85 meter cube. You can also go ahead and change some parts of your slabs, from generic slab, right, to be different kinds of materials, right? Insulated, then this one can be with parquet. And now if you go back to your schedule, you will see here, there is a differentiation of the concrete. Okay, at any point of time, right, you can flip the orientation of the rows and the columns. Okay, so I will also want you to illustrate that with your schedules. You see now this is with a header like this. If you click on this, do you notice that now the way that the information is represented is different? So it will start in this format. Just now it was in the horizontal format. Here I repeat, I click here like this. Then I click here, it's like this. So it's entirely up to you to choose how you want it to look. I will click on the scheme settings now. I also want to show you that for this schedule, for example, all these volumes, right? We can ask Archicad to automatically calculate and sum up the volume. So how do we do that? You see here, there's this summation sign. If you remember from your high school math, it's in this column. So you simply click on volume, click here, and then this will be summation. Once you click OK, there will be a bottom here that says this is the sum of all the values here. Okay. And I can also, for grand total, I can change the color to say red, bold, underline. See, then I always know that this is the sum of all the values, right? For my headers, all my headers, I can change it also to bold. Okay. I can even show headline. What does headline mean? When I click, okay, before I click headline, right, all of this is not separated into its floors. But if I click on show headline, it will show ground floor. This is the concrete. First story, these are the concrete. Hmm? This one? Which one? The summation? This thing? Okay, so you have to go back to your scheme settings and you must make sure that you click this sum in this column. Okay. Okay. But before the Q&A, I will wrap up the recording. So essentially, this is the lesson about the schedules, right? We have already shown you how to customize for door schedule. Okay. The assignment is door schedule, window schedule, and this concrete schedule. Okay, so essentially, I've already helped you do 66% of your assignment. Okay, the remaining one is you adjust your window schedule. Okay, in accordance to the assignment criteria. Okay, the assignment criteria is in your polite mode. I will show it also shortly. Okay, but I will end this recording now so that the video will not be too long.